Thank you for staying with us on the program. Just before we went on break, we were talking about a national conference which will start off tomorrow in the nation's capital, Abuja. Over 400 delegates are expected to arrive at the nation's capital for that all-important discourse on the nation's issues. It's expected that that national conference will last for about 3 months and to be headed by Justice Kutigi. Well, I still have with me Mr. Babatunde Gbadamosi, and the PDP's quest to retake the southwest Nigeria come in the 2015 elections is what takes our attention now. We've seen President Goodluck Jonathan go around some part of the country, to Kaduna, to Kwara State, campaigning, well, it's not a campaign, a rally, so to say, getting members together after the so-called crisis that almost broke the party apart. This time around, the party has its eyes on retaking the southwest, which they believe is a major part of the country for them to get the 2015 general elections in their hands. Well, what we're looking at tonight is the essence of the southwest in the scheme of Nigeria's politics. The population, voting population of southwest Nigeria is about 19.44 out of the about 73 million voting population of Nigeria. That's as at 2011, when INEC said before it did its revalidation of its voters register. In southwest Nigeria, Lagos has over 6 million. While Oyo State has over 2 million, Ogun State over 1 million, Ondo State has over 1 million also, Osun State and Editi State in that order. That makes up over 19% of the total Nigeria's voting population. Just how important is this voting population for the PDP when they have plans of retaking the southwest from the APC dominated? Now, the fact remains that out of the 6 states in the southwest, only Ondo State is not for the APC. Ondo State is Labour Party. That's perhaps the only state that Labour Party controls in Nigeria at the moment. Mr. Babatunde Gbadamosi is the chieftain of the People's Democratic Party. Thank you for staying with us on the program.
Thank you.
It's important, isn't it, southwest Nigeria, but how important is it in the nation's political game?
Of course, the southwest is important. It always has been. If it weren't, the then ACN would not have gone to the sort of violent extent that they went to try and create mayhem in the states that they lost in the election, and then use that.
I mean, you say mayhem, violence. I mean, you need to substantiate, because, I mean...
Well, there were a lot of political killings after the elections in 2011. Okay.
But the courts have not...
Sorry, in 2007 is what
the courts have not actually named names.
Well, unfortunately, there is a tendency for these violent events that go on during and around election period to get swept under the carpet, perhaps by indiligent prosecution by the police.
We must be careful about accusations on issues of violence.
Well, there has been violence, and people have been killed. That is the truth. People have lost their lives. I can't begin to reel off names and names of people that have lost their lives since 2007. And recently, there have been a rash of killings in Editi and Osun states. So it's something that, and if you look at it, you'll find that it's usually people that are opposed to the ACN, APC political tendency that tend to lose their lives. And that's something that really needs to be looked at. It needs scrutiny, okay, by the security agencies. We must not be lax. Okay, it is in that sort of atmosphere of fear, intimidation, harassment, murder that the cases, the tribunal cases, went to court. And we found that, we know that there are allegations of collusion between certain elements in the judiciary. All right. And certain elements in the APC.
We are talking about how important the Southwest is.
It's that important.
19%. Do you think 19% is significant winning a presidential election?
Of course it is. If that 19% decides to go one way or the other, then of course they become really, really significant.
Let's look at what happened.
There is the tendency also, don't forget, that because Lagos is more or less the commercial epicenter of Nigeria, okay, whatever happens in Lagos tends to spread throughout the country, because every single ethnic group in Nigeria is represented very well in Lagos.
All right. Let's look at what happened. In 1998 elections, we saw
1999, you mean?
There was an election in 1998. 1999 was the beginning of the dispensation, where we saw that AD has almost all the states all the states in the southwest. But somehow along the line in 2007, the game changed.
2003, you mean?
2003, a few states, but this is how it looked like in 2007. Take a look. Lagos is the only state that the Action Congress had.
No, sorry, you got this wrong. This was in 2003.
This was started in 2003, but
yes,
I said
after the elections.
This is what it looks like in 2007.
Yes,
this is what it looks
prior
like
to the elections.
Prior to the election, this is what it looked like in 2007. In 2007, all the other states PDP, but in 2011, things have changed. What do you think was the cause?
Well, in 1998, the then AD, rode into office in the southwest off the back of sentiment about the well-justified sentiment about the demise in detention of Basharu MKO Abiola. Okay, they were able to use that propaganda effectively against the PDP by simply labeling the PDP as the party of the military, and basically pointing accusing fingers unjustifiably, but they effectively did it at the PDP as the party that killed, as the party of the people that killed MK Abiola, even though it's not true. Now, by 2003, the people of the Southwest had seen through the charade that the then AD represented, because in the PDP states, they could see that progress was going on in Cross River State, in Bauchi State, in states as far afield as Adamawa and so on. Work was going on. But in the Southwest, it was stagnation and, acrimonious politics of acrimony, hate, slander. That's all that was going on in the Southwest, and in particular in Lagos. Okay? By the time the 2003 elections came about, the people of the Southwest had had enough. You can only fool the people for so long before they wake up to what's going on. And so
you can't attribute that to the break in the AD at that moment? Well,
yes, there may have been that also. That may also have played a part. But the fact is, the governors formed a bloc in the AD. And then there was the Afenifere bloc. Okay? So in effect, the governors were in power. They had their own bloc. There was no division amongst them. And yet, they still lost the elections. And they lost the elections because of their arrogance. I actually witnessed a particular governor. I'll never forget this. I came over on holiday from the UK. I hadn't fully returned to Nigeria at the time. And I was watching a rally in a neighboring state, okay, on TV. I think it was on channels as well, where the incumbent governor was basically instructing the people to vote for him because he had done so much work for them and they had no right to vote for anybody else. Because if they didn't vote for him, he would no longer give them this and he would no longer give them that. He was so arrogant. And at the time, to be honest with you, I didn't have any political affiliation at all. And I said to the people that were watching with me, I said, this man is going to lose the next elections. He's going to lose. Because you don't talk to people like that. And of course, he lost. He lost woefully.
Interesting. Let me just quickly bring this up. What happened between around 2003 and 2007, and all of a sudden, PDP lost it? A lot of people.
Well, we didn't actually. If you remember, at the elections, PDP actually won all those states.
In 2007.
In 2007, at the 2007 general elections, we won in Oyo State, Alawakala.
Yeah.
We won in Ogun State,
Daniels, yeah.
We won in Editi State. Okay. We also won Ayofarashi. We also won in Ondo State. Okay. And we won in Edo State. All right. Now, what then happened was that the judiciary was set in motion. Okay. the AD candidates in the elections went to court.
It wasn't AD any longer.
It wasn't AD.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
at the actual AC then.
Sorry, they went to court and they got their so-called mandates back. I say so-called because now we know that there may have been some element of collusion between certain senior members of the ACN and certain members of the judiciary.
Interesting that you're bringing this up.